The ANC Vhembe and Mopani regions in Limpopo will today hold their regional general council to draw up a roadmap for branches ahead of the provincial and national conferences. They will also pronounce on candidates for the upcoming provincial conference. Now, Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi is in studio for more on the story. Pelane, thank you so much for coming in and for joining us here. So let's just start off with what could we possibly expect from these conferences?
Well, the main aim of them sitting in the first place really is to draw a roadmap so that they can be able to know when membership will be audited, when branches will be able to conclude their processes to ensure that they are ready for the provincial conference coming through. But being politicians are politicians. They will take this opportunity to come through now and pronounce their preferred candidates for the provincial candidates. You do know that it's now open out to the whole public that there's quite a number of regions and branches that want the current incumbent chairperson, that is Stan Matavata, to have a third term as the chairperson of the province. And in that regard, you will find that Vhembe might be coming through to support that particular stance because those are some of his constituency branches. Now we go to Mopani. Even back in 2017, they pronounced a different name as in the whole province. For the national conference, they pronounced NDZ at the time, and we are expecting no difference even for now in the province. They'll be pronouncing that their own regional chairperson, Bule Shai. We are expecting that, of course, that Bule Shai will then be pronounced as their preferred candidate for the provincial chairpersonship. And in that regard, there's already a slate that has been doing the round throughout the social media platforms, and Stan Matavata has not denounced it. So I'd only assume that because he's already been saying it out loud that he wants President Cyril Ramaphosa to have a second term, and nobody in that particular province, well, at least publicly, has been coming to say that that's not going to be happening in our province. They are fully behind what Stan has been saying. So in this regard, we're expecting that the Mopani district will be one of the very few that will come through to pronounce a different one. Waterberg is yet to have his own conference, in elective conference. So I would assume that once that is done, because it's going to be held somewhere in March, once that is done, they will be able to then get a clear picture what their thinking is. But Sekhukhune and Vhembe, they will be in a somewhat in coalition with what Stan Matavata has been saying. But Mopani in itself today, that's where we're going to be expecting some sort of a contradiction to what the province and a lot of supporters in the province have been saying. So Vhembe on the other side, it will also be sitting, it will also be making those pronouncements, and we're expecting that they'll be making a pronouncement that Stan Matavata come through to be chairperson, and in that slate, Denim Caesar to be a regional, the provincial secretary. Now, you'll have a lot of questions on whether he can stand. There's been talks about it on whether he can stand because he has stepped aside, and there's been JC Duarte's, the DSG, has been coming through to clarify a lot on that matter. So only when towards the conference will we be able to understand the processes even much more better. Will he be able to stand? If not, because he's banned from even being part of the party activities, will he be able to stand, or will he be allowed to send a letter to say, I'm available, you can be able to choose me? And if that is the case, then after he's elected, then he'll still go back to be to step aside. There's been a drawn parallel between himself and Ace Mahashule that Ace is on the other side, might not be able to stand from the SG. But remember, Ace is suspended, and Denim Caesar is not. So those are also the politics and the kind of interactions that I think the branches and as well as the regions will be talking about, in particular towards June. We do know that in the first week of June, that's when the provincial conference will be held. Interesting stuff. I just want to quickly ask you, Pelane, the issue of, in KZN, we often see this violence that happens with politicians and with ANC specifically, where people actually die and people get killed. We don't necessarily see those kind of things in Limpopo. Look, they're not as rife. There have been incidences, sporadic incidences in the areas such as Waterberg and in the Pelane, to be exact, and as well as in Mogalakwena and Mokopane, where 2 people were killed for whistleblowing about 4 years ago or so. So those are some of the elements that we've seen. And in the area of Vhembe, we've also seen that there are people who are currently ongoing trial for allegedly killing people related to the Vbs matter. So yes, there are some elements of it, but we have not really been seeing them as rife as they're coming through in eThekwini, in particular KwaZulu-Natal, even in the Dibru Zulu area, Zululand area, where there've been so much blood spilled over the last decade. In particular, even in the last 2 months, we've heard about 2 councillors already being gunned down, giving you how this politics in those areas remains a thorny issue. But of course, Police Minister Begitele has been saying that they are working right on the heels on it to try to get to the bottom of it and solve those political killings in the area.
Pelane, you just mentioned Denim Caesar. Is he not the same person that's in court? Or am I mistaken? For Vbs Medal?
ANC has stepped aside, yes, because he's been charged for fraud and corruption along others, and we do know that that arrest list now has gone up all the way to 25. So he's part of the 25 who are currently in court. His charge sheet is with the Commercial Crimes Court, and hence he has currently stepped aside because he is being charged criminally, and he's ongoing his criminal cases in court. Therefore, the African National Congress, through its 2015 General Council resolution and further put together by the 2017 conference, that anybody who is formally charged should then step aside.
Okay. Pelane Phakgadi, thank you so much for your time. That is Pelane Phakgadi giving us more details around, what will be coming out of Limpopo.